Tonight on CTV News at 5.
This year, 2025, marks 10 years of Caleb's courage in our community.
A decade of difference. Caleb's courage marks a major milestone.
Is I'm taking the miniature, the minutia of the community and enlarging it.
Magical portals. A maritime photographer puts Nova Scotia ferry doors on display.
Especially this year after the drought, it's really important that we do the best to care, especially for the lawn.
And winter is coming. The Garden Guide looks at ways to prepare your lawn for the colder months ahead.
Rainy and gusty weather developing tonight, but clearing before the start of the weekend.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Panopalis. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get any further, let's head over to the anchor desk where Todd Battis is standing by with a look at the day's headlines. Hi there, Todd.
Hi there, Maria. We're going to take a look at the precipitation levels in the region. We have rain coming in. We'll get to Caleb Mitchell in a moment. Will it be enough? The lack of rain and low water levels are impacting New Brunswick's Mactaquac Dam. It isn't necessarily a new thing. The water levels are always lower this time of year, but right now it's not generating power. And with Point Lepreau down too, where is the electricity coming from? We'll look at that. We'll also take a look at water conservation efforts that are ongoing in the Dartmouth area. Vets Canada is picking up the pieces, literally and figuratively, after a break-in at their Dartmouth headquarters. The nonprofit helps those who served our country, and they say demand for their services is high. Thousands of dollars in gift cards were stolen during a break-and-enter at their Main Street facility in Dartmouth. We'll hear from them at 6 o'clock. Well, this can't come as a surprise. With fewer Maritimers expected to travel south this winter, one of the region's main airlines has decided to drop a direct flight between Moncton and Orlando, Florida. This was a favorite among travelers out of the hub city, but recent political uncertainty has cut into travel demands, as we know. Coming up at 6, travel experts will weigh in if you're interested in heading down to the Sunshine State. All right, let's bring in Caleb Mitchell now. I know you are going to talk about the current conditions, but you have one eye on that system that's coming into the region.
Yeah, I sure do. And these type of rain events, the one coming in tonight into Friday for the Maritimes, are the type of rain events the region needs. Now, one on its own is not going to be enough. We need several of them. In fact, if we could get about 2 a week from now through the month of November, then we'd be back into business here in the region. Taking a look at temperatures right now around the region, they're mostly sitting around the high teens and the low 20s, mid-20s in a few areas, including up around the northwestern corner of New Brunswick. The amount of moisture in the air in general has been increasing a little bit after there was some drier air in place today, so dew point temperatures coming up into the the high single digits into the low teens, and that's bringing in relative humidity values that are now running up in most cases between 50 and 70%, though between 70 and 80% on parts of the coastline. Over on the winds, they're out of the south. They're being sustained right now, 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. We're getting a few gusts reported between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. A lot of times during the night, the winds get lighter. Not tonight. Tonight, they're going to be getting more on the gusty side as the wet weather approaches, but remaining out of the south and southwest. Speaking of the wet weather, may already be initial round of some lighter rain and showers up around the northwest of New Brunswick, but much more to come. It's this area of rain that's working its way up through the northeastern United States. So again, that's developing tonight for the Maritimes, extending into Friday, and I'll have more details of that when I'm back a little bit later on. Maria.
Thank you, Caitlin. We will see you a little later on. Right now, though, one of the best-known children's charities in Cape Breton marks a major milestone this weekend, and as CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us, it comes with a big donation.
When hundreds of people, many of them dressed in superhero costumes, gather at Petersfield Park in Westmount on Sunday, they'll be marking a big anniversary.
This year, 2025, marks 10 years of Caleb's courage in our community.
The movement, started by Caleb MacArthur's parents back in 2015, began with relatively humble intentions to raise enough money to renovate a room in pediatrics at the Cape Breton Regional Hospital. But over the past decade, it has morphed into something more.
And it snowballed into this enormous charity that is helping so many local families, and it's providing inspiration for everybody in our community to make a difference, big and small.
Molly's mission was happy to donate $10,000 to the cause, to Caleb's Courage Walk, Run, Fly.
This year, one of the biggest donations is coming from one of those families helped by the Caleb's Courage movement. Molly's mission was created by 12-year-old Molly Wadden during her final months battling Ewing sarcoma to help other children who are dealing with critical illness.
It's what she told us to do, so I would like to think she'd be happy, and we're just honoring her wishes.
Caleb's mom added that one thing she's particularly looking forward to on Sunday is being able to announce to the community just how much money the Caleb's Courage movement has raised over the past 10 years. For now, preparing for this weekend's event is just another part of the unique bond these parents have come to share.
Plain and simply, it's because I've been on the other side, and I understand what that's like, and I've been that parent, I've had that child, and I see the support and the caring and the grassroots movement that Caleb's Courage has created.
This is something that our Caleb would love, that Molly would love, and we just want to celebrate their superhero spirit.
A community celebration a decade in the making kicks off on Sunday with registration at 9 and the Walk, Run and Fly beginning at 10. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Westmount, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Ryan. Beautiful. Caleb and Molly, what a legacy they've left behind. Going to take a break here on CTV News at 5. Stay with us, though. Much more to come, including these two stories.
I'm Hafsa Arf in Dartmouth, where a gallery has images of doors from different parts of Nova Scotia that open into a world of imagination. That story is coming up next.
Hey, it's Emily from Halifax Seed. Coming up next on the Garden Guide, I'll talk all about some tips and tricks on how to prepare your lawn going into winter.
Cheer on the Fleet Force Special Olympics as 200 trucks roll through Dartmouth October 4th. See firsthand what happens when big rigs come together with big hearts for a great cause. For more information, go to truckconvoyns.ca.
Welcome back to CTV News at 5. We are at Halifax Seed with Emily Trigano for another edition of the Garden Guide, surrounded by so much fall colors, so many beautiful colors, Emily. But today we're looking ahead.
We very much are. So yes, lots of things are still growing. Grass is starting to green up. We have all kinds of beautiful fall colors. Vegetable gardens are still very much alive and well, and lots of wonderful harvests are coming from them. But what we want to think about is how to prepare our lawn and garden going into the winter. And especially this year after the drought, it's really important that we do the best to care, especially for the lawn. So my recommendation is mid to end October, when you're going to put that final application of fertilizer down. Really make sure that you have a fall or a winter care fertilizer. That is really going to help set up the root system and be prepared to go into the winter and then come back beautiful and green in the summer.
And you probably don't want to wait until October to get that fertilizer. Might be a good time to have that ready to go.
It's a good idea to always get prepared. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. One of the other things, we talked a lot about drought, but there was also a lot of talk about Japanese beetles. So Japanese beetles, they wreaked havoc on many gardens.
I'd never heard of them before this year.
Right? They're very destructive. So part of their life cycle is actually in the soil, and in the soil of lawns. So right now is the time to get out there and control the white grubs in the lawn. So the Japanese beetles, they breed in the lawn, and then they come up to have a nice snack on your garden. So I would recommend, something like a nematode or a Scots grub begone. Those are going to be the best applications. And right now, when they're active in the soil, is the best time.
Okay, so you're saying they're very thorough, so we need to be very thorough when we're dealing with them.
Exactly. You're going to control grubs in the spring and the fall, and then you'll control the Japanese beetles while they're flying in the summer. There's certainly some still flying around, so you can absolutely put a trap out, and that should help collect a few more, because there's hundreds per property that we can
go with
collect.
Millions.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say going into the fall, best thing to do, make sure any dead branches, debris, stuff like that is cleaned up so we can go into the winter healthy.
And get your fertilizer ready to go. Thank you, Emily. Always really good advice. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Gonna have to take some of that advice. Got some work to do at home, that's for sure. All right, let's take a look at some weather. Video got a treat for you today. This is coming in from videographer Daryl Reeves out of Cape Breton. This is from the Lookoff at Kelly's Mountain and then looking down toward St. Anne's Bay. And we've got a little bit of low cloud cover we can see there, just drifting over the water. Beautiful scene, quite tranquil. I'll have more on what's coming up in the weather in the Maritimes after the break.
No big deal, nothing to see here. Just another day in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia webcam shared this beautiful shot on their Facebook page of the Blue Nose 2 sailing by Peggy's Cove, Kaylin. Yeah. 2 icons, 1 shot. I mean, if you've ever seen a framer, here it is.
Just get Anne-Marie out there and a lobster, and you have it all in one little scene.
Anne-Marie and a lobster. Put Steve Murphy out there, too.
Why not?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
all right, another beautiful day, but we're all very eager to see some of that wet stuff come down.
And boy, am I happy to be talking about some rain in the forecast. So we'll get into the details of that in a moment after we take a look at this scene. And this is the Petitcodiac River outside of Moncton for today, where we did see some increase in cloudiness. In fact, cloud cover generally increasing from the west across the entirety of the Maritimes today. Sun rising 7:04 to 7:18 a.m. and then setting 7:03 to 7:15 p.m. for provincial capital. So actually 7:01 there to 7:15 p.m. Well, let's take a look at what's going on our weather systems map. Now, barometric pressure is beginning to fall once again. It was higher yesterday. We had an area of high pressure that was directly over top of the region, but beginning to fall at the approach of this low pressure system making its way out of the northeastern United States. Now, taking a look at our radar picture, we're not seeing a lot of rain in the region yet. That may be the start of some lighter rain and showers around western areas of New Brunswick, as well as a chance of showers in the southwest of Nova Scotia as we move through this evening. The bulk of the rain, though, still down through the northeastern United States and will be moving in as we head through the night and into Friday morning, which is what we're seeing here on the forecast timeline. I know it's been a while, but it's nice to see some of those greens and yellows and oranges sort of fill up the weather map there. By around midnight tonight, the rain is expected to have developed across most of New Brunswick and basically the western half of Nova Scotia. And then during the overnight hours, filling in towards Prince Edward Island and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Friday morning around the Maritimes, I would say there's going to be some areas of some rain, drizzle, and fog around. So expect a cloudy, bit of a damp start to the day. Definitely some rainy and gusty conditions for PEI and eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton. And throughout the day on Friday, the rain is expected to clear off towards the east. And by the time we get to around the mid-afternoon, most parts of the Maritimes will be down to a low chance of a spotty shower or two, but a 30% chance. Winds will be out of the west and northwest at that time, and they will be a little bit blustery. Rainfall amounts of this weather system, in general, looks like 10 to 20 millimeters for a good portion of the Maritimes. So with some pockets of rain that could be as high as the 20 to 50 millimeter mark. And that's in areas where some of the brighter colors are showing up. So locations that have maybe a little bit of a higher chance of seeing those somewhat higher rainfall totals do include parts of the west of New Brunswick and around the Bay of Fundy coastline in that province. Winds, as I mentioned, they get a little bit gusty tonight. Out of the south and southwest, peak wind gusts 30 to 60 kilometers per hour and then become west and northwest, diminish just a little bit Friday afternoon. Now, because of the topography of the Cape Breton Highlands there in Inverness County tomorrow, northern Inverness County, Friday morning into early Friday afternoon, some of the peak southerly gusts could actually reach close to, if not just above, 100 kilometers per hour. So there is a wind warning in effect there. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for the Maritimes because the increase in cloudiness, the wet weather moving in, the southerly winds, they're on the milder side. Most low temperatures tonight will be around the mid-teens, so a little bit cooler in northern areas of New Brunswick there between 12 and 14 degrees, and a few parts of Cape Breton as well. Could see some lows get down to around 12. Highs in the forecast for Friday around the Maritimes. So that wet weather is clearing. It will be mostly around the high teens and the low 20s. As for the start of the weekend on Saturday, it's high pressure moving back into place, so expecting a fairly clear day. Mostly sunny conditions for all 3 maritime provinces. Most of the high temperatures around the high teens and low 20s, and just slightly cooler in northern areas of New Brunswick, where highs will be between 16 and 18 degrees. All right, let's take a look at Weather Watcher for tonight. And tonight's Weather Watcher is coming in from a student from Sycamore Elementary, and they have drawn the water cycle. And of course, we are looking for more of the precipitation part of that cycle. which we have coming in tonight. So thank you so much. Great job on that. And CTV Weather Watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or you can email me at kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. We'll check in with you at the end of the show. Right now, we're going to turn our attention to contraception concerns. Last year, the federal government introduced the National Pharmacare Program with a goal to provide universal coverage for a range of diabetes medications and contraception. So far, PEI is the only maritime province to sign a deal with Ottawa. As CTV's Emma Convey reports, a group rallied at the Nova Scotia legislature today to have their voices heard on the issue. Hi, Emma.
That's right, Maria. Concerns were raised both outside and inside of legislature today surrounding access to contraceptives. Advocates say it comes just ahead of World Contraception Day tomorrow.
Whether it's oral contraceptives like the pill or others like the ring, IUDs, or injection, these advocates with Access Now Nova Scotia are calling on the government to provide no-cost coverage to Nova Scotians.
And reminding the government time and time again that Nova Scotians do still want this benefit. They deserve this benefit.
This group met at the legislature in June to bring their issues forward, but claim there has been minimal communication since then. Those in the field say the need continues to grow.
At Halifax Sexual Health, we've been offering free contraceptives since the 1980s, actually. So that's a need that we've seen since almost the beginning of our center. This year and the next coming years, we give away around $18,000 worth of free birth control. So clearly that is a need.
People are being forced to make some really difficult choices that they shouldn't have to make. So removing cost as a barrier would greatly increase people's ability to access the medicine they need.
Well, it'd save me a little bit of extra money in this hard economic time for sure. I mean, just to regulate my body to have to pay $60, you know, is a little much.
Only 4 provinces have made deals since the National Pharmacare Program was launched. Nova Scotia is not one.
Not only was it birth control, there were diabetes medications and diabetes care included in that deal, so to speak, and those couldn't be separated. Generally, federal dollars are only on the table for a limited period of time. So in this case, it was around 3 years, and we needed to make sure that what was on offer was sustainable for Nova Scotians.
Today we're tabling legislation that would make birth control covered for all Nova Scotians. This is something we've been pushing for a long time.
The Nova Scotia Health Minister says there are other options.
It's important that people have access to birth control, absolutely, and I think there's a number of ways that we do that. Some people will pay a copay or a premium. Others, given their circumstances, will have that for free.
Some feel contraceptives shouldn't be funded at all.
As someone who supports life from conception through to natural death, we see a problem with many contraceptives in that they provide a very hostile environment for the growing embryo at this very early stages in human development within the mother's womb. And this is, in fact, an abortion.
This doctor from BC says government funding has been a difference for his clients.
Young schoolgirls who previously couldn't get it or couldn't get their parents to get it or were too embarrassed now can walk into the pharmacy and get it for free without a prescription.
For a lot of people, it's not affordable, and so I think that they should be given some allowance.
Health Minister Thompson says the provincial government is open to having these conversations with advocates, but adds it's complicated and these decisions won't happen overnight. Maria.
Thank you, Emma. CTV's Emma Convey for us in the news center on this topic. And of course, it brings us to tonight's web poll. We are asking, should government cover the cost of contraception? Your options are yes, everyone should have free access to contraception, or it shouldn't be free, but it should be subsidized. And your final option, no, taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook for contraception. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this.
Start your morning with us for what you need to start your day. News, weather, and even a little fun. Your Morning Atlantic with Amanda Debison, Crystal Garrett, and Latavia Beezer. Weekdays from 6 to 9 on CTV2 and CTVAtlantic.ca.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Join us tomorrow as we're live from the QE2 Home Lottery Grand Prize Show Home.
We'll give you a sneak peek and we'll give you the keywords to win moves. Dream big.
Welcome back. An exhibit in Dartmouth invites visitors into a world of wonder. CTV's Hafsa Arif takes us to the Craig Gallery for a walk through their magical portals.
I
Was on the ground in mud, and I didn't care.
At first glance, they're easy to miss. Tiny doors tucked across Nova Scotia, but in the lens of photographer Nikki DiMaggio, they're impossible to ignore.
I seek out fairy doors, and fairy doors are little creations that Haligonians make, usually at the base of trees.
What starts small, Maggio makes larger than life, photographing these whimsical creations in sunshine to make them sparkle, then printing them big enough that you can't look away.
I'm taking the miniature, the minutia of the community and enlarging it.
The fairy doors first caught her eye during the pandemic, when families stuck at home started leaving little bits of magic for others to find.
That's where I first discovered them. And one fairy door will lead me to another fairy door. So usually I'll be on Cambridge Street and someone will say, oh, have you seen the fairy door on Beach Street? Have you been here?
But they're fleeting. Hurricanes, curious pets, or time itself can take the doors away. Through her lens, Maggio immortalizes them.
I make sure that the fairy doors are documented and preserved this moment in time for everyone to see.
And while the exhibit preserves the fairy doors for now, the artist hopes they'll keep inspiring others to create their own, long after these images leave the walls of the Craig Gallery.
The families who are creating them sort of have a story in mind that they want to tell. That's what I have gathered from the families and the children that have created these doors.
The exhibit runs until the end of this weekend. Maggio says she'll keep knocking on doors from Digby to Glace Bay as long as they appear. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Thank you, Hafsa. Beautiful pictures, beautiful little, magical portals.
Little magic, a little whimsy there.
Yeah, well, the magic in today is that we are expecting rain.
Yeah, so we've got that in the forecast. It's coming up for tonight. I'll have updates on that coming up at 6. The other thing I'll be taking a look at 6, we have a hurricane, a tropical storm, and an area that could develop another tropical storm all going on in the Atlantic. So I'll update on that situation as well.
When it rains, it storms, huh?
Yeah, well, let's hope not.
We'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next. Thanks for watching, everyone.